call the meeting to order. Do we need to have a motion to do minutes from the last meeting, Amanda?
No, we can catch that next meeting.
Okay, so we'll just go right into the agenda. We're talking with Wayne this morning. So Wayne, I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right, thanks. Good morning. And yes, it's pouring down here. So hopefully you have a better day up in Chester. On the agenda today is just one item. We had some discussion on it at the last meeting. The copy of the agreement was provided, and that's just to execute a memorandum of agreement with the EDC LDC for the housing study. The planning department will prepare the RFP. Purchasing will release the RFP. In-house will do some of the work, some of the data development, and then the consultant that would be selected would do or undertake the actual market analysis and final report. So that's that's what's before the committee, and I've asked the committee's consideration of that. EDC and LDC have already approved the agreement as it sits, so I'm asking for the county to sign on for use of staff and for us to coordinate the process.
So do we need a motion to bring this to the floor? I think we do. So Claudia, is that your motion? I see your hand up.
I will make a motion, but I have questions on the agreement too, please.
Of course.
I'll second.
Sounded like Andrea. Thank you. Claudia, go ahead.
Thank you, Mike. Absolutely. We need this study so that we can start getting some more interest in developing affordable housing in Warren County. I'm just concerned about the language of number 4, Wayne. I tried to email you, and I do appreciate that Pat got back to me. It makes it look to me like either all the items in number 4 are being done by the planning department with some assistance from purchasing, or are they all being done by the analysts that we're going to hire? Because it talks about gathering relevant studies, reports, assembling the most recent data, identifying current projects. But then it also says developing the RFP. So are we undertaking all of that background research in the planning department and developing the RFP, or are they supposed to be doing all the background research and then you planning along with purchasing would develop and put out the RFP? Like, it's a little unclear to me what exactly you're doing, because you did tell me planning is not going to be getting reimbursed for any of your time. So I want to be sure that we know exactly what you're on the hook to do without getting paid to do it.
Well, I mean, the county pays us to do this. So as far as a revenue stream coming in, no, there isn't. But we are going to compile the readily available information, gather up any studies that are currently available, and provide those to a consultant for their review, perusal, extraction of necessary data. And then, Pat has been working on the RFP in concert with Office of Community Renewal. So we would put out an RFP through the purchasing office. I think if there's anything more than that, I'd let Pat talk about that. So Pat, anything you want to add?
Do you hear me, Wayne?
Yes.
Okay. The work that's going to be done here, and I think we've certainly have had you and I have had ongoing discussions about, what are the capabilities of planning staff versus what are the specialized pieces of information that are beyond our ability to do based on, we're not market analysts. So given our history with housing over the last 30 years, and our relationship with communities, I think we have a great opportunity to provide the background information that will kind of fill in the blanks and put this together in a meaningful report of sorts. The market analysts, I want to say this to Claudia, Supervisor Bramer, and the members of the committee, that every year the DHCR releases a request for work to be done by market analysts. And they do this because not all market work that is done is consistent with what they want to see. And they're particularly concerned about it because if projects are to request state resources, that would follow the format that they need to have in place. So certainly utilizing their updated annual list of market analysts with which we would send the proposal to makes the most sense. Not knowing if we would or the projects would secure or desire state resources. So we certainly would have a leg up if we prepare this consistent with what they're requiring. So I think that's the basics on what we do, what a market analyst would do, and that combined effort, I think, would actually yield us a very good report with what the communities may need.
Okay, let me follow up on this. In number 4, at the very end, after the RFP, it says, determine the number of new seasonal temporary housing units that may be required to meet local workforce housing needs.
Yes.
And develop a housing strategy for sustaining the existing housing stock and developing new housing units. So you're saying that after we get this market report, county planning department is then going to come up with this strategy and around how to meet the number of units that you also determine are needed.
Yes, and beyond that, we would like to do this the strategy as a part of this report. So as we learn more information, the ideal thing, Claudia, would be able to utilize the data that we collect, have some indication from the market analysts where we're going with the market demand for these elements, and put together a strategy. There was a interest by the supervisors who attended the 2019 March meeting that was organized by Ed. They want to find out about seasonal housing, about workforce housing, and some of the businesses want to know about what we do about housing. So we felt compelled to also include that information. How far we can go in depth to that remains to be seen. But if you're thinking that we'd like to do the end all and be all, I would love to do that, because I think it gives us the most current data, the most rounded picture of what our housing needs are and what the potential is for developing either multifamily housing, new single family housing, workforce housing. So I'm going to try to we should try to squeeze as much as we can out of the market analyst report, as well as our own collected data, to get the best, most current report we can.
Yeah, I mean, the list of things here that you are going to undertake is quite comprehensive. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the planning department is able to come up with out of this. And I'm wondering, where are you as far as steps, basically 1, 2, 3? I mean, it looks like those are things that you've already been working on.
Yes, and we've had we have worked on housing reports in the past, and we've got quite a archive of information on homes that we have assisted, and have, I think, a good background to undertake this as a department within the county. You should also know that there is also already existing significant information on market information for both Queensbury and the city of Glens Falls. And as you know, the city undertook Broad Street Commons project, and the developer shared with us the market study. So I was so happy to see that, because it provides us, at least, we're hitting the ground running with information on that. What we don't have is information for the up-county community. So is this an overreach in a lot of ways? Well, probably, but I'm hopeful that I think the department has the capability to do a reasonably good job, and the supervisors who have expressed interest in this, I think, are behind us and will help us to develop that information base that we need. But your questions were good ones, and I appreciate that. And if, if we putting a working group together, you'd like to participate, love to have you. Thank you.
All right, great. Thank you. I'm done, Mike.
Thank you, Claudia. Is there anyone else with questions? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you, everyone. I don't believe that there's anything else on the agenda.
No, there isn't. I appreciate the committee taking the effort to get together and move this forward. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Wayne. Does someone have a question? Sure.
It was not a question so much as a comment. Dennis, can I just real quick? Wayne, I just wanted to say thank you for taking the time to allow us a chance to review everything and bring this back, and, just giving us an opportunity to make sure those that were uncomfortable to read over the documents and get up to speed. Time. So I appreciate it, Wayne, and same to you, Pat. Thank you. I know it can be frustrating.
Thank you, Claudia.
Thank you, Supervisor.
Any other comments today?
That was Rachel, guys. Thank you.
With that, a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Thank you. Second.
From Claudia. Second.
Thank you. Thank you very much. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you for your time, everyone. And good luck, Wayne. Thank you, everyone.
Are we going right into the finance meeting?
Going into personnel.
Personnel?
Yep, as soon as they give me the go-ahead.
And then into finance?
Right.
Correct.
Okay, then I'll say, thank you.
Hey, Matt, this is Mike. If I bail out, do you still have a quorum?
I guess I would have to ask Amanda here.
I'm not on either one of them.
Mike, are you dialing in from somewhere good?
No, I'm in Chestertown. And I have my hands full.
So the answer is no.
Thank you, Doug.
That was for Craig Leggett.